System-wide preferences. So if we go to this side panel right here, under Profile Manager, we have Preferences. And then we can go down to System-wide. System-wide preferences, starting at the top, we have auto logging out. So if I check this and select a time, I'll typically do 20 minutes. What that means is if I just close out of the software, it will not log me out of the software. So if I have this checked and set to a time, I don't have to physically log out of the software to free up that license. And then right here is a license release. So after 20 minutes, it'll automatically free up licenses due to inactivity. Next, we have the tracking status default. So in your company specific preferences, it will override whatever this is displayed as. But we want our tracking status that is most of the time we want a gauge to be in this tracking status whenever we create a gauge. Next, we want to look at globally unique IDs. So what this does is it creates, or at least it ensures, that all of your IDs are unique across all of your companies. So if I check this, C-1, that's just a gauge ID that popped into my head, I could not create that gauge ID for multiple companies. They would have to be unique across all companies. Next, let's dive into our user-defined labels. So I have one right here, and so our company user-defined labels, if I were to create some aliases for these different labels, and then I were to launch my add edit section, in the add edit list, I will have different fields that I could utilize for that different scenario. So if I close out of here, go up to add edit companies, I can create all kinds of different aliases. Like this one says region, so then I could enter in some data here. I have all these status checkboxes, and this is all company specific. So system-wide preferences, and we can edit company-specific labels. We have a couple different pages here, some more company labels, lab tabs, order system labels, and then if we go into our next tab, which is due date settings, we can state or tell the software to skip specific days. So if we create a new calibration schedule and it happened to fall on a Saturday, if I check Saturday and Sunday, it would go to the next open day. So if we check any of these days, your calibration would not fall on that day. Then we can also go into annual days to skip, right, and specific days to skip. So whether or not it's Thanksgiving or Memorial Day or whichever holidays your company has off, if you do not want equipment to be scheduled on those days, we can enter it into here. Next, we do have increase and decrease calculated due date. So what we can do is if across all of your companies, you want the calibration due date to automatically be at the end of the month, we can do that. If we want it to automatically be at the beginning of the month, end of the week, beginning of the week. And so what that does is if I say 1 year from today's date, well, it's the 13th of this month. So 1 year from today, it would automatically be the last day in the current month that we are in. Next, we have flag as due for scheduled on day of or day after. Do you want the system to flag something as due at 11:59 or midnight? So that's up to you guys on that one. And then the next is scheduling a default for our schedule. So we can pre-populate a specific schedule, if you find that you typically use a specific frequency and interval, then you could default the schedule to automatically populate with this information. Next, we have our auto scheduling section. What this states is that we can reschedule after every blank consecutive calibrations that do not fail. And so if they don't fail, we can increase by a certain percentage. Next, we have tolerance formulas. So tolerance formulas are how we create our test points. So if you guys had any kind of custom scenario, you can build it yourself. So in here, if you look at this second column, it states the formula that we're using to generate this tolerance right here. So if you wanted to, you could create a new tolerance formula that has to do with maybe a percentage of the nominal or something like that. Next, if we go to variables, this is for custom code. These are just like triggers and things like that that our developers use. And then it seems like we're out of tabs, but actually if you hit this arrow key, we can bring up two more. So this extended attributes tab, these are system-wide attributes. So these can be used as bonus fields, or if you are using read-only, this is actually how we create system-wide fields for our customers to be able to edit certain fields. So we do have a read-only training if you do require more information on that topic. Next, we have template approvals. So if you do pay attention to our template video, we have approvals turned on. If you would like to disable template approvals, we can always check this, disable template approval functionality. Or what we can do is we can specify a different rule. So if you wanted to set up a different rule and say something like a specific user, or you wanted to say a specific profile can approve things, like maybe you wanted to give power users the ability to approve, that's what this is stating, that a profile has to be power user in order to approve templates. Then you just hit OK, and then that's now the required approval process. All right, and this completes our system-wide preferences.